Hey, year three. The bit of a disaster. Someone phoned me right in the middle of me doing this last bit. I need to tell you the last bit of Spaghetti Pig out. Now, if you remember, Matthew had a bit of a disaster, just like me this morning. And it all went wrong. So there was the accident with the horse and the poo, if you remember. 7. Rats, I said to myself. Everything was going wrong. I'd lost the remote control. Guts Garvey had nicked it and there was nothing I could do about it. I was too scared to go near him in case he put me into reverse again. I felt terrible. I walked home with slow, sad footsteps. When I got home, Dad was mad because the remote control had disappeared. I couldn't tell him what had happened. He would never believe it. So I had to pretend most of the weekend helping him look for it. But I knew where it was. The video wouldn't work without the control, of course. So on Monday, it was back to school as usual. Back to wandering around with no friends, with no one to talk to. As I walked around the schoolyard, my stomach rumbled. I was hungry, very hungry. I hadn't eaten anything since tea time on Friday night, and the reason for this was simple. This was the day of the great Spaghetti Pig Out. Pig Out? What does that mean? What do you think? A competition to see who could eat the most spaghetti bolognese in 15 minutes. Now, in America, they do these eating competitions all the time. You need to think to yourself, why, when you look on television, you see there's very, very large Americans, because they do these eating competitions. And I think in Japan they do them as well. And yeah, a bit disgusting because it's mostly junk food that people are eating. The grand final was to be held in the school hall. The winner received a free trip to London for 2, and the entrance money went to charity. And I had a good chance of winning because even though I was skinny, I could eat a lot when I was hungry. I'd won all the heats. My record was 10 bowls of spaghetti bolognese in 15 minutes. So I don't think spaghetti bolognese would work for me. Chicken and chips, rice and peas, and jerk chicken, maybe. Spaghetti bolognese, no. Maybe if I won the competition, I would also win the respect of the kids. I was going to give the tickets to London to Mum and Dad. They needed a holiday badly, so that's quite kind. Now, I didn't see Guts Garvey until just before the competition. He'd kept out of sight all day, and I knew he was cooking up some scheme, but I didn't know what it was. Now, there were 4 of us on the platform, me, 2 girls, and Guts Garvey. The hall was packed with kids and teachers. I felt confident but nervous. I knew that I could win. I was looking at Guts Garvey and saw that he was grinning his head off. And then I saw a rabbit in the front row. His pocket was bulging. Rabbit had something in his pocket and I thought I knew what it was. Oh. They were up to no good. Guts and Rabbit had something cooked up, and it wasn't spaghetti. The plates of steaming spaghetti bolognese were lined up in front of us. Everything was ready for the starter to say go. Oh, my empty stomach was in a knot. My mind was spinning. I tried to figure out what they were up to. What if I ate 5 plates of spaghetti and Rabbit put me into reverse? I wouldn't eat it like the man in the cafe. I would go backwards and take all the spaghetti out and put it back on the plate. My knees started to knock. I decided to back out of the competition. I couldn't go through with it. Go, yelled Mr. Spaghetti. Not Mr. Spaghetti. Go, yelled Mr. Stepney, the school head. It was too late. I had to go on. I started shoveling spaghetti into my mouth. There was no time to mix in the meat sauce. I just pushed in the platefuls as they came. 1, 2, 3. The winner would be the one to eat the most plates in 15 minutes. I watched Guts and the others out of the corner of my eye. I was already ahead by 2 bowls. In, out, spaghetti, 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 spaghetti. I was up to 7 bowls. Guts had eaten only 4, and the 2 girls had managed 2 each. I was going to win. Mum and Dad would be pleased. Rabbit was watching us from the front row. I noticed Guts nod to him. Rabbit took something out of his pocket. I could see that it was the remote control. He was going to put me on rewind. I was gone. But no, Rabbit was not pointing the control at me. He was pointing it at Guts. What was going on? I soon found out. Guts began eating the spaghetti at enormous speed, just like a movie on fast forward. There's the clue. His fork went up and down in his mouth so quickly that you could hardly see it. He licked like lightning. He swallowed at top speed. Boy, did he go. His arms whirled. The spaghetti flew. 10, 11, 12 bowls. Bowls, plates, a lot of spaghetti. 13, 14, 15. He was plates ahead. I didn't have a chance to catch up to Guts, the guzzling gourmet. He fed his face like a whirlwind. It was incredible, inedible. See how those two go together? Incredible, inedible. But it really happened. Rabbit had Guts on fast forward so that he would eat more plates than me in the 15 minutes. It wasn't fair. There's nothing I could do. The audience cheered and shouted. They thought that Guts was fantastic. No one had ever seen anything like it before. He was up to 40 plates. I'd only eaten 10 and the 2 girls 6 each. The siren blew. Guts was the winner. I was second. He'd eaten 40 bowls, 40. No one had ever eaten 40 bowls of spaghetti before. Rabbit hit forward on the control and Guts stopped eating. Everyone cheered, hooray! I looked at my shoes. I felt ill. And it wasn't just from eating the 10 plates of spaghetti. I swallowed. I had to keep it all down. That was one of the rules. You weren't allowed to be sick. If you threw up, you lost the competition. Now, Guts has eaten 40. It's in his stomach. Matthew's feeling sick after 10. 8. Guts stood up. He looked a bit funny. His face was a green colour. His stomach swelled out over his belt. He started to sway from side to side. Then he opened his mouth. What do you think came out of his mouth? Oh, hello, I'm feeling a bit sick. He opened his mouth. Out it came, a great tumbling surge of spew, a tidal wave of swallowed spaghetti and meat sauce. It flew down the table and onto the floor, a brown and white lake of sick. And you know what sick's like? It's not just comes out, it smells, doesn't it? It smells disgusting. Guts staggered and tottered. He lurched to the edge of the table. He opened his mouth again and let forth another avalanche. Ooh. The kids in the front row screamed as the putrid waterfall splashed down and all over Rabbit. Rabbit shrieked and set the remote control spinning in the air. So you can imagine, sick falls on him. He goes, throws his arms up in the air and sent the remote control spinning into the air. I jumped forward and grabbed it. I shouldn't have done what I did. And I remember he wants revenge. I couldn't help myself. I pointed the control at Guts and the river of sick. And then I pressed rewind. Now when you've been sick, all that horrible stuff has come out. And then when you look at it, sometimes you feel sick because you smell it and you feel sick and you're sick and you're sick and you're sick. Now, can you imagine a more horrible thing? If some mad person tried to make you eat your own sick. And what would people think if they saw it going back? Then I pressed rewind. 9. After that, Guts Garvey was not very popular at school, to say the least. But I had lots of friends. And Mum and Dad had a great time in London. And as to what happened to the remote control, well, that's Another story. I love this story because it's got a sort of a happy ending. It's a bit disgusting, and I don't think Matthew was particularly good. So, marks out of 10, year 3. 10 out of 10. I think I'd give it 11 out of 10. That's not possible because I must admit it made me laugh. What do you think about Matthew? Why did he have lots of friends? Why? Can you think of any reasons? What do you think happened to the remote control? Some of you might want to write a story. Okay. What happened to the remote control? What did Matthew do with the remote control? Were there good things he could do with it? More bad things? More naughty things? Oh, dear, 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 dear. Supposing horrid Henry had got hold of this remote control, what would happen? Supposing you brought this remote control to school, would Mr. Bilson be happy with that? Would Miss Gemma be happy with that? I know I wouldn't be. I don't want anybody making me eat anything I don't want to do. Definitely, if I, oh no, I hate to think. What could you do? Oh dear. Some of you might end up in prison. I know you're really bad. No, I don't believe it. I think some of you would do some really good stuff. Anyway, if you feel like writing a story about a magic remote control, Matthew's remote control, write the story, put it in your books that you've got in your homework packs. Show me or show Miss Gemma when we next get together. Anyway, I'm going to be picking a new story. So have a nice day. And let me see if I can upload this so that you can all watch it. Take care, year 3, and have a good day. Bye.